First step, create a new project. Then click on Maps and select the maps relevant to you. For this tutorial, we're going to be using Valguero. From there, select the new drop, and now it will show you all the loot drops that are relevant to the maps that we chose. And since we chose Valguero, we're only going to see drops related to Valguero. When it comes to choosing your drops, you can select a single drop and hit next. Or if you want to select multiple drops, then simply go ahead and press Shift click. Furthermore, if you want to select certain drops, then you can go ahead and press Control click on Windows or Command click on Mac. Finally, if you were to choose your drops and just hit next, you'll be presented with completely blank drops which you can work with. Alternatively, if you tick load default contents, then any drop you chose will load up the exact contents that it has on official, and you can go from there and change it to your heart's desire. So now we're going to code our drops from scratch with no default loot. So select the drops you want and press next. Now each drop has sets, and sets contain the loot that we may potentially get when we open the drop. For example, one of your sets may contain tech, another contains a variety of resources, and the last one could be crop plots. Drops need at least one set, and the max can be 99. How it works is when you open a drop, there's a chance we'll only get one set or all 99, or if we're lucky, we'll get somewhere in between like 49. When I code my drops, I stick to a minimum of one set and a max of 3. Prevent duplications. It is very important that this setting is ticked, as Arc can only select an item set once. When not checked, Arc can select the same item set multiple times until the chosen number of item sets has been fulfilled. Using the example on screen right now, if you go ahead and open a drop and the game decides it wants to give us 3 sets, with duplication off, the game can go ahead and give us that tech set 3 times, for example. Next is add item sets to default. Now this setting is completely useless and has been replaced by the load default drop setting. How this worked was you created your drops and you added to your server. From there it would then add those item sets into the official loot drop pool. Problem is it leaves it up to the Arc gods to eventually decide to give you that loot, whereas if the setting is disabled you can go ahead and choose when you get it. Lastly are templates. These are pre-made sets that help you quickly set up your drops, so I will choose the first 3 to demonstrate. Alright, a few things we need to cover before we make our own drops. If you want to add another pre-made set, hold down on the new item set and click one from the list. Next is the layout. Now on the left hand side we have the drop, which is the white one in this case. In the middle is the item sets that are in the drop, as well as the simulator, which shows us the potential loot we could get in the drop. Finally, the right side, which appears when you select an item set. This section shows all the items that are in this set. It's important to note while we're here, as you can see at the bottom it says 18 items. This indicates how many items are in this set. Next is the min and max entries. How this works as of right now, if we got this set in our drop, we will get at least 1 item, or if we're lucky, we will get 2. You can of course change these numbers to determine how many items you get. Prevent duplication, very similar to how it was before, but this time it just applies to the items in the set. Next is the weight. As you can see, each item in this set has 1000 weight, meaning each of these items have an equal chance of being chosen. Items with a higher weight are more likely to be chosen compared to items with a lower weight. For me personally, I like to create variety in my drops, and how I do that is I leave my min and max entries the way they are, and I also edit the weights, so that way there's more diversity. Lastly is the set's weight. As you can see, the weight for this set is 500. This is the same for the other 2 sets that we chose earlier. This means all the sets have an equal chance of being chosen. Sets with a higher weight are more likely to be chosen compared to items with a lower weight. So if you want to have a guaranteed one, go ahead and make it 1000 and make everything else like 250 for example. Alright, so now that we have our blank drop, the first thing we need to do is give it an item set and then give the item set a name. This one I'm going to be calling weapons. From there you want to select new entry. Alright, now the first thing we need to do is refine our search. Now any category that is grey will mean it will appear in the item box below. If we were to right click the category, it would turn blue, and this means we'll only see items that are related to the category. Right click it again and it will turn red, meaning we won't see any items that relate to that category. And then finally right clicking it again will make it grey and thereby appear in the results below. Now with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and find shotguns. Now the quantity will dictate how many shotguns we get. I'm going to set this to 1 as my minimum and the max for 10 for example. Quality will determine the rarity of the item. Now keep in mind, by setting it to Ascendant or higher does not guarantee it will be that rarity, as there's a bit more math to it. But what it does do is increases the chances it will be that rarity. By default, any item has a 25% chance to become a blueprint. Raising the setting increases the chance it will be one, and lowering it increases the chance it will be the item. The weight determines the chance of the item being selected. Higher the weight, more likely it will be in the drop. Less weight, less likely it will be in the drop. Stat limit only applies if you're using item clamps, i.e. made it where on your server nothing can go past official stats. Now what this setting does, if we increase it for example, will allow us to make bonus loot for example, because the weapon that we have just chosen is now able to exceed the stat cap on our server. If prevent grinding is enabled, you won't be able to grind the item in a grinder. Once you're done, press OK and congrats, you've just made your first entry into an item set. From here you could upload this to your server and your normal white drops will only produce shotguns, but we're going to add one more set before we do. So go ahead and add the new set, and this set will contain bullets, and we'll be setting the minimum quantity to 1 and the max to 100. Now instead of just adding these items into the set, we're actually going to merge them into one entry. As you can see in the simulator, if we got this entry in our drops, it would give us each type of bullet with a different amount of ammo. Now that may be pretty awesome, but you may not want that. Rather, you may want a different ammo type each time with a different quantity. And to do that, all you simply need to do is click choose only one item. And now as you can see in the simulator, every time we will get this entry, it's going to be different ammo with a different quantity amount. Now from there, just press OK. Now that we have our drops completed, it is now time to export the code to the server, and there's two ways we can do that. Firstly, by pressing export, select Game INI, and copy the code using Ctrl+C. From there, go ahead and open the web interface for your server or your local game files for your single player. Head to the Game INI, make sure the server/arc is not running at the time, add the code, save the code, and then restart your server. The second approach is only for those who have servers with Nitrado or the GameServerApp.com. You want to go ahead and select import, select the source, follow the login process, import anything that's core to the server like I have shown. Then what you want to do is go click deploy, which is right next to export, select the server and tick the boxes you want and then press begin, and then Beacon will go ahead and complete the process for you. And there you go, the process is done. You've just made your first custom drop and it is now on your server or single player world. Awesome work! Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions or video suggestions, let me know in the comment section and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.